You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything
Could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh, and yes, I have to fix my sound. Good morning. We'll get there. And here we are. We're on regular sound. Keeps it interesting at the beginning. Maybe I should have kept the echo on there. That would have made things very interesting. Well, we're live as usual here on CKLU 96.7 FM. CKLU.ca. Click on the Radio Player Canada app and you can download us. Take us with you and listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device. We're also streaming at facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News. Make sure to like, share, follow, subscribe, and all those things with our pages and channels. Mainly comment, though, because this is your conversation on your station, CKLU. Been around since 1984. Good year for music as well. But we started off in a humble trailer on Ramsey Lake Road on the top of the hill at the Laurentian University campus. And then we ended up in the old Telegraph building on the corner of Elgin and Elm Street, which is part of the new MacEwan School of Architecture right here in Greater Sudbury. And that's all under the guises of Laurentian University. We have a partnership. It's a campus and community radio station powered by some of those from Laurentian, some different bodies and supports from Laurentian University, but mainly supported by people like yourself. So make sure to continue to like us, support us, and do all you can to keep radio alive here in Greater Sudbury. As I try and call up the show here on my monitor, and you would think it would be right there, easy, ready to go. But no, it's not. But we make things happen here. We have a great show. We're waiting for Billy to jump on. He said he's going to be on the show this morning. So I'll just throw him a quick text and see if he's still on his way, because we have, as usual, great conversations, and I don't want to promise something if it's not going to happen. And so here we go. I just sent him a text. We were planning it last night, what we're going to talk about. We didn't have a show yesterday. Technical difficulties. So as you can see, I'm coming from my other studio right now, and we had issues with the studio that I'm usually in. And so those technical difficulties have been rectified, but I'm also coming to you from our other studio this morning. So either way, we're going to have a great show planned for you. I'm trying to get this ready to go. Looks like it's all ready. And we have a good little bunch on this morning already. So thanks for joining us. We'll dive right in. We're going to cover some local news this morning. And there's always something to talk about what's locally and provincially and federally. One thing that has changed in Canada, which many things have changed recently, have been politics. They're no longer the boring politics that we're used to in Canada. There's more, like they're over delivering on the drama and things to cover. I wish it weren't so. It's good for the show, but it's not good for us as Canadians, is my opinion, as we are changing laws, and we're being about as super progressive as could possibly be. And things are changing very rapidly, so much so we won't recognize the country. Uh, we already are starting not to recognize it, but even more so. So let's dive right in. We have some weather for everybody, and then we'll hopefully have Billy on. I know we haven't done a remote conversation for a while, and I asked, are we sure things are, we're sure the routine of how to set everything up and whatever. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Looking forward to having him on the show. And if not, we got a lot of great things to talk about anyways. And so it's just always good to have Billy on to kind of have the conversation with. So we'll be back right after some weather, then some comments from you guys, and some news headlines from around Sudbury and then around Canada. So we'll be back right after this. And Sudbury weather brought to you by Duck Check. Visit duckcheck.com, and it's not the duck like the quack quack, but it's the duck like your ductwork in your house. So DUCT, duckcheck.com. And also their phone number is 705. I'm not even going to try to memorize it now. Anyways, you can just look them up at duckcheck.com. They got their phone number there, all their contact information. If you're worried about the kind of air that you're breathing in your house, give them a call. Drop them a line and let them know that we sent you, and you'll get $100 off your inspection and your duct cleaning. Anyways, currently it's 18 degrees out there. There's a mist, apparently. Today it's cloudy with a 40% chance of showers or drizzle with a risk of a thunderstorm this afternoon. Fog patches dissipating this morning. High of 26, but with the humidex, it'll feel like 31. Very hot today. UV index will be 5 or moderate. Tonight, cloudy with a 40% chance of showers this evening. Then partly cloudy, risk of thunderstorm early in the evening, low of 16. Wednesday, mainly cloudy, showers beginning near noon, becoming wind will be moderate. High of 23, humidex will feel like 28, so very humid for the next few days. And again, 23 in showers tomorrow. High of 24, periods of rain on Thursday. Good for the gardens, by the way. And 40% chance of showers on Friday with a high of 27. And then for the weekend, we're forecasted to be 30 degrees, 28 degrees, and partly sunny, partly cloudy. So that's pretty cool for the weekend. Monday, 30% chance of showers, high of 29. And chance of showers, 30% chance of showers. And look at your satellite here, but this was yesterday. We'll try and refresh it and see if we can get something a little bit more recent, which we do. We got something right here at 6:03. Yeah, there you go. So it looks like we should have clearing, but yeah. So, but we won't. It looks like all of the weather has been heading to the east of us, and then we're supposed to have clearing, but I guess some clouds will develop. They know more than I do. That's your Sudbury weather brought to you by duckcheck.com. Visit them online, contact them, let them know that we sent you, get $100 off your next duct cleaning and inspection, and we'll be back with your comments, news headlines, and more right after this. Okay, and we are back. I don't know what just happened here, but let's just get this going. Everything's in a different spot here on my media switcher. Just it's a different setup and it's a different studio. Everything getting used to over here. So bear with me. We'll get through. We'll have a great show. And first to the YouTube party, it's Nana. Good morning, Nana. Good morning. Good morning, dear one. I'm not getting much sound as it's not my device. Okay. Well, I don't know if it's on my side that the sound is different. It probably is. It's maybe I'll have to speak a little closer to the mic here. I'm on a different studio, so different sound. Okay. So Bob says his sound is good. Okay, that's great. And okay, well, good. I'm glad that The sound is okay. I appreciate that. So, Judy, good morning. Thanks for being with us this morning, and Marianne as well. Good morning, everyone from Rainy Barry, liked and shared, as usual. And Vin says, morning from the Road Radio. Good morning, Vin. So, great to have you on the radio. I know we have a lot of people that do listen on the radio, so we're not able to gauge the numbers, but we'll get a letter or a phone call here and there from people saying they like the show and they listen. And so we appreciate all of you. Shout out to Isabel Brown, one of our longest listeners, was with us all the way from Sudbury Sports Talk way back in the day, listens to us on the radio. And again, my apologies for not having a show yesterday. For those listening on the radio, there's no way to really let everyone know. So you're just listening, waiting for the show, and then music continues. But we post on Facebook that there's no show. But other than that, and on YouTube as well, there's no way to just put it up that there's no show. We'll try and figure that out in the future. Good morning, Miles. Thanks for being with us. And Pat as well. Good morning, people, with an exclamation point. And Maurice, good morning. Smiley emoji. And Mike, good morning to you, Mike. Thanks for being with us. Haven't seen you on for a bit. Denise, blessings everyone this morning. Same to you, Denise. And Miles, not sure what the heck was that. Okay, something that I did possibly. Just shared to local groups. Thank you very much. And that was Denise also saying, we've had issues for the last 3 days, always being kicked off all the time on the internet. Oh, well, that's not good. I know at our building we're having some internet issues ourselves, but I don't think it's the providers. I think it's one of our routers, but hopefully it's not true. I've been hijacked, LOL. Oh, okay, so someone's commented for you. I'm not sure. That was Miles. Anyways, Denise says, I mentioned 10 teams, 10 countries. The U.S. is now talking about presidents being kings. It's common, fast people. Okay, so 10 teams, 10 countries, and the U.S. is now talking about presidents being kings. Well, it's a kind of a trend anyways with our political systems, with our leaders these days of, kind of changing the dynamics as we move more into a global system. One of the common goals of our leaders are to make a global society with no borders. But they don't just come out and say it, that's one thing we're doing. Like it's not common knowledge. They'll say it at a conference or whatever. Now we see a new world and we're borders. They'll give some speech about that at some conference, but it's not all that broadcast around for people to know that's their goals. It's like, it would be great if things were more transparent with our leaders, federal leaders, to just let us know look, we're going down this road. We're going to make a digital currency where, it's going to be one currency. So that way there's not all this instability with all these other countries. We're going to, have laws that are for everybody. There's not going to be different laws in different countries. We're going to have a court that can enforce these laws globally. We're going to have everything global. And they don't just come out and say it. They say it in different ways, but then they speak to their people in their countries in a different way. It's almost like they do it in secret or something. Just come out and say it. That's what your goals are, to make a one world government with no borders, one world currency, with all the new technology to be able to track everybody, what they're eating, what they're buying, and if they buy something that's, everyone will be given a carbon maximum to buy. And if you start going over that carbon maximum, you just can't buy it. Like, you'll go to the grocery store and try and buy a steak, and it'll say, sorry, you've gone over your carbon limit already. You can't buy this steak because this steak, in order to produce it, took up X amount of carbon, and you won't be able to buy it. But this is where we're going. The leaders, the architects of our society have already come out and said that, but it's not really that known to the common person, right? And why is that? It's it's supposed to be for our betterment. We're all saving the planet because they know the people won't go along with it. And so they have to work behind the scenes and whatever until ultimately they come up. They haven't enough in place. They just pull the trigger or flick the switch and it's there, right? And I don't know. I'm not looking forward to that myself, but again, the world's going to go its way and I'm going to go mine, and that's the way it is. So Marianne says, because of everything they're doing, politicians that is, in these bizarre times, they're upsetting people. And finally, people are saying, what the heck is going on? Yeah, people are saying what the heck is going on. And I think it's still going to get worse in where things have gone worse. I mean, we've had record numbers at food banks, record numbers of with the immigration policy, with newcomers to Canada, which we don't have the infrastructure for. We don't have the amount of entry-level jobs because the majority of the new Canadians or people coming to the country with visas, student visas or whatever, they don't have skills yet. They don't have education. And so they're taking all the entry-level jobs, ones that students would have done, or you get right out of high school and you want a job before you go to university, or want a job while you're in university. These entry-level kind of positions that don't need education, really, much education or many skills. So those are all being taken up, and it's creating a job shortage for that particular demographic. Unprecedented, by the way. I'm in that industry, so I see it every day. And that's just a couple things that are going on in the country. And yeah, the drug crisis that we have, the homeless crisis, because again, as much as people want to say that the immigration policies have nothing to do with our homelessness crisis or housing crisis, you have to have a little common sense and you'll know that it does affect it. When you have more people needing places to live, like if you have distant relatives and you want to invite them into your home and you only have 3 bedrooms, but you invite 10 relatives with their families into your home, they're not going to have a bedroom. They're not going to have a place to stay. You might have to sleep on the couch or the floor or outside in a tent in your yard or something, but they're not going to have a bedroom because you only have 3 bedrooms. So it's that simple. So if you invite 1 million people into your country and you've already started having a housing crisis to begin with, and then you just pour gasoline on the flames and it makes it worse, right? So things are going to be getting worse. There's no doubt about it before they get better. And yeah. Okay, Denise just clarifying what she said there. And Nana says, I sure hope Billy is going to be on. I really enjoy your conversations, and I do too. And so I'm not sure what's happening there, and you never know. And Billy's alarm might not have gone off. It's happened before, maybe once. So we'll have to see. But either way, we're going to have a great show today. You guys are a great bunch, and we enjoy having a conversation with you. Good thing these 5G towers give better internet, right? Those things are dangerous to human health and need to be taken down. Yes, that's a whole thing in and of itself. If you look around at these huge towers that were erected at the beginning of the lockdowns, we woke up one day and all these towers were up. That was right when Canada was debating whether we go with Huawei for our internet infrastructure across Canada. And everyone's like, Huawei, aren't they, from a certain country that will have all of our information? And so we don't even know who's got the contract anymore for our for our internet infrastructure across Canada, right? Which company got it? Who put up all those towers? Who's the company behind the infrastructure? Nothing about it. So it's probably them. Pat says rain is good for the gardens, but we need sun. You need both, right? You need rain and sun. Hey, Canada. Miles says, hey, Canada in the semis of the oldest soccer tournament in the world, even older than the World Cup and Euros. Yeah, they'll be refacing a rematch, if you will, facing one of the best soccer players and one of the best soccer teams. Tonight, I believe they're playing. So we'll see how that goes. Argentina. And Jerome says, good morning, all. Good morning to you, Jerome. Danica, good morning with a heart emoji. Thanks for being on, guys. Really appreciate it. Yes, the volume is rather low, no matter how low I put my phone. Okay. We'll try and do what we can with the volume here. I'm not sure. Maybe by tomorrow's show I can boost it a bit or just stay a little closer to the mic. So I'll stay closer to the mic and we'll see what happens there. Okay, so some people have better sound. I know it's a different setup here. It's a totally different sound system. It's not as boosted as my other studio. And good morning from Collingwood. That's Liette. Thanks for being on, Liette. And Isabel Brown, one of the most wonderful human beings on earth. That's Bob. Yes, definitely agree on that one for sure. And I've been wanting to give a shout out for a while to Isabel, who's listening. Marianne says Canada needs to get rid of the crown. Right now, politicians work for the crown and not for the people. And that's another thing that's not all that known for people, like our commitment still to our mother country, right? Kind of thing, like one of them, which would be England. One can argue it's England and France, but to the royal family, right? They have the power. If you look at the Governor General and their role, it's to basically be their voice here in Canada and report back to them on what's going on. I was told in college that didn't exist anymore just because Pierre Elliott Trudeau did a pirouette and gave a finger to one of the royals as they left. That doesn't change laws and change agreements. Denise says they will put us in routine, easy morning walk and line up to get your daily scores. Yes, well, you never know what could happen there. Marianne says yes, and some are stupid enough to do it. Look at the politicians. Call a spade a spade. Marianne says, sad part is politicians think they're exempt from everything, and they are doing this to their own families. Okay, yeah, inflation as well. Haven't really talked about that. That's huge. Many people are being forced to sell their homes, and Canada is in a terrible state, and I would agree with that financially for sure. And there's no getting out of it in sight. Like we don't see anything changing in a positive way anytime soon. It's just more of spending and taxing and spending and taxing. A grand rising people, this is Monique. The greatest weapon is not a gun or a bomb. It is control of information. To control the world's information is to manipulate all minds that consume it. Well, I feel like that when I listen to mainstream media, I'll tell you that, with all of the one-sidedness and leaving out details and facts that they need to be reporting on, but they don't. I get that. Knowledge is power, and that is 100% true. So Jerome, speaking to Mike, says, has WSN come up with impact ratings for hard hats atop a turban in the mining industry? I'm seeing this out there. So that would be a safety issue, right? And you would think if you're wearing a turban, how do you protect your head? Maybe, it is an issue. So that, and I know Mike is in the safety industry too. So that's just a good, interesting thought. And, you know, I think something should be done with that, obviously, to keep everyone safe. I was told was Sweden that put the towers up. Really? Sweden. Okay. Well, interesting. Okay. So thanks everyone for being with us today. We definitely have a few stories that we wanted to get on with locally here. So we'll go through our local news aggregator, which is Sudbury.news. You just go to Sudbury.news and we aggregate all the news into one convenient location. We'll just get it up on the screen here. And top news stories of the day. The free provincial park day use access available later this month. So the province is offering free admission on July 19th as part of Healthy Parks, Healthy People Day, as a number of parks across the province will participate. That's interesting. Okay, check out Sudbury.com for that. And they have more stories to start your day as well as they usually do in the mornings. Laurentian University has a very bright future. Newest governor, says Jane Barltrop, says he is someone that will ask the right questions at the right time. So newest governor for Laurentian University has high hopes for the university after its insolvency, the only university in Canada to ever go bankrupt. And so we'll see how bright our future is now that there's legislation in place to prevent any other universities from doing the same. Canada's snap election unlikely in Canada's European campaign send incumbents packing. This is from Sudbury.com. With international examples of snap elections sending incumbents packing, the federal Conservatives maintaining a healthy lead in national polling, and speculation over whether Prime Minister Justin Trudeau ought to resign, it seems less likely that the Liberals will want to roll the election dice early. And that's why we saw the election happen when it did, because I think the current Prime Minister saw the writing on the wall. He ended up with the lowest minority seats of a party in Canada, and had to work now with the NDP in order to get things done. So it's basically a coalition government. So he basically elected Jagmeet Singh by doing that. And so they're happy with their power. They got two major parties in there in power. So I don't think anyone's going to be calling an election anytime soon. I think, though, there is an argument to be made of treasonous activity with the federal government that should spark either arresting the people who are involved in the treasonous activity, which should be the case, but it doesn't look like they're going to be doing that. But that's, to me, what needs to be done. And then, if for some reason someone who's at the top has been involved in it, then needs to go to jail, then there should be an election, right? So I'm thinking that's probably the best route to go if the RCMP will actually do their job, and they would probably, treasonous activity is punishable. There's jail time as part of treasonous activity, right? So maybe we'll get to that a little bit later today. So City celebrates Colombian community on July 21st. If you'd like to learn more about the Colombian community in Sudbury, look no further than Colombian Presente and Sudbury Festival happening July 21st, 11 to 5 at Twin Forks Park. Now that's interesting that we're having a day to celebrate Colombian culture in Sudbury. Part of being multicultural, we have all kinds of cultures here living in Sudbury, right? The Prime Minister won't call an early election, this is Marianne, because all those MPs are due for their pensions. They need to rob taxpayers of more money. Yeah, and that's the thing too. If people weren't aware of it, Justin Trudeau moved the scheduled election in 2025 1 week further than it should have been, just so that way that's the deadline for many, many politicians to get over the threshold to receive their lifelong pensions. So if the election would just go ahead as normal and they were to be voted out, they wouldn't receive their pensions. And it was only a 1 week difference. That's interesting, the timing, right? Like just 1 week would mean you get a pension or not. And they moved it because they wanted to get their pensions. That should send a message to the Canadian taxpayers about who's running the country, right? And what their goals are, what their real goals are. So the last story was last couple of headlines were from Sudbury.com. This one coming from CBC. Parties, painting, and performances. How Sudbury is celebrating Pride Week. Pride Week in Greater Sudbury kicked off Monday with a flag raising at City Hall and the unveiling of a rainbow mural between Tom Davies Square and Memorial Park. And I believe yesterday we got the Sudbury Star's newsletter came in, and basically the story was about Pride Week coming up, which I thought we just had Pride Month, but I guess there's Pride Week after Pride Month. To me, it's just interesting that the timing of everything. Excuse me. Okay, so here's okay. Not sure where that story then went. I believe I was reading it there. Okay, here we go. Sudbury Justice. Sudbury's Pride Week to confront ongoing challenges in fight for equality. Conservative rhetoric and far-right ideologies continue to dehumanize us, organizers say. So I thought, oh my goodness. What's being said? Who's saying it? I want to know. You read a headline like that, and if you're a journalist and you make a headline like that, you should back something like that up, right? At least ask the person. What do you mean, conservative rhetoric? Well, rhetoric usually means what people are saying, right? So, and dehumanizing. So, what's being said? I want to know. So I opened the article and I started reading it. So let's just read it together. Pride Week returns to Greater Sudbury this week, a celebration of inclusivity and diversity. Pride is rooted in the spirit of resistance and solidarity. I thought it was rooted in the spirit of love. But no, this particular activist or organizer says it's rooted in the spirit of resistance and solidarity, which makes me wonder, because I thought it was inclusive to everybody, and that has a different tone to it, right? It has a different resistance, and solidarity is different than love and inclusion and equity for everybody. It's just the wording caught me a little bit off guard. Things organizers say are needed as much as ever. So again, we don't need love as much as ever. We need resistance and solidarity more than ever. Verite, I'll just pronounce it like that, Sudbury Pride is hosting Sudbury Pride Week from July 8th, which was yesterday, to July 14th. This celebration honors the origins of the global 2S LGBTQQLA+ movement, including pivotal moments such as the Stonewall riots in New York City in 1969 and the Toronto bathhouse riots or raids in 1981. So that would have been 43 years ago. In 1969 would have been 54 years ago. 55 years ago. These events galvanized the 2S LGBTQQLA+ community, sparking a renewed push for rights and visibility across Canada, Sudbury organizers said in a release. From these historic struggles emerged the modern Pride movement, championed by BIPOC trans women and drag queens, who led the charge against police brutality and societal injustice. Verite Sudbury Pride's new board says it aims to continue this legacy by advocating tirelessly for the 2S LGBTQQLA plus community through social, educational, artistic, and family-orientated events. So as you can see, this is great, and I'm waiting for the rhetoric that's being said and the dehumanizing, because this is bad stuff. If you're having hateful, it didn't say hateful there, but if you conservative rhetoric, so I don't know what that means, first of all. So I'm trying to find out from this article what the conservative rhetoric is and what the dehumanizing of this community is, right? So I'm reading this article and this release. They sent out the press release. I didn't. So I'm just wanting to know what they're meaning. So we'll continue and we'll see if we can find it. As we launch Sudbury Pride Week, we invite everyone to join us in celebrating our diversity, honoring our history, and fostering a community of inclusivity and acceptance. I thought it was resistance and solidarity. Okay, so a community of inclusivity and acceptance, said Bailey Harris, co-chair of the board. This week kicks off with a flag-raising ceremony, which happened yesterday, by the way, at Tom Davies Square. It was 10 a.m. yesterday. Mayor Paul Lefebvre spoke. Following his address, local drag performers and community activist Miss Stacy Woods delivered a message highlighting the importance of community and pride and resistance, hopefully, and solidarity as well, right? So which are interesting terms. I've heard those somewhere before. Resistance and solidarity. Where have I heard those before? Oh, yeah. Unions. Unions use those terms all the time. So I wonder where that correlation comes with this particular community and movement. And yes, Isaiah, good morning to you. And I thought the same thing too. I thought we had Pride Month already, and I thought a lot of these celebrations would have taken place during Pride Month. But I guess our community, so I guess